Hey y'all, it's your girl Alex popping in here for our weekly lunch chat. How are y'all doing? You know, saw some posts, some people were like freaking out, and I'm just like, bro, I'm over here chilling because I already know how this ends and it's gonna be fucking beautiful. So I'm just chilling over here. How are you guys doing though? Um, Let me know in the chat how we're doing. So we are coming to an end today with our 30-day challenge, this beautiful healing. If you can hear my music, that's exactly what it is I'm talking about. This is a daily thing we've been doing. I do here. I put it to test. I wanted to see how y'all did. If you hopped on and signed up on our link for our 30-day challenge, do be expecting an email from me. You will have an opportunity to put your name and information if you want, especially if you want to come on and talk. I would love to hear it. I want to hear how it helps people out, right? Especially going through this time. And this is going to be super important from us going forward too, as we continue this ascension, right? Just remember, everything's optics, right? Everything has been going on because I wanted to touch base with you guys. Did you know? Hey, y'all, I'm excited. Let me know where you guys are popping in from. So it's interesting because it's like, did you guys know that there's been a lot going on in just this last calendar week alone with D classes dropping pardons? There was 143, I believe, individuals who were either pardoned completely or their sentences were, the word's escaping me, where their sentence is basically forgiven, or they don't have to do anymore. Let me know in the chat. I'm totally blanking on the word. But so I wanted to let you guys know, like, there's so much information with my treasure trove. The link is, all these links I'm talking about, they're in the description because like everyone is being censored like crazy. So in my treasure trove link, there is this channel in there that I talk about, Millennial Millie. She's amazing. I adore her. I think I would want to give her like the biggest hug. She's amazing because she's just this like badass journalist who is really like digging into what's really been going on, right? And if you don't know about Spygate, do research about it. She's got 2 phenomenal videos, and it was pardoned, and there was another word for it too. There was 2 separate ones, but we'll figure it out. But so there it was someone who is not able to talk about these things, right? I had asked this individual, I said, is what's going on in this particular video true? And all the person told me was yes. And so this individual was leaving me breadcrumbs here and there, wouldn't tell me anything outright, but would just confirm in a non-confirming way that I was on the right trail, and what I was finding and researching was in fact correct. 2 of the things were her videos talking about Spygate. Oh my God, we could go on for hours just on that topic alone. Please dig into your research. Like, this is really what's been going on, right? The link is in the description. So if you're on your phone, there's should be like a little triangle up in the right hand corner. If you click that little, it's the down arrow, and it'll drop the description down, and then copy and paste. Now you're gonna have to copy and paste these links because there's been so much censorship and taking everything down that I've had to still resort to this. It's my document, only I can edit it, so you do have to copy and paste the links, but there's so much really good information in there. So yesterday too, I tried to get on the phone. I only got to watch some of it live on the feed, but they had Ghislaine Maxwell's unsealing of her documents. There was so much of it redacted that was already released, but this was removing everything, exposing who those people were. I did not personally get to watch that part of it, but that's an interesting thing that was yesterday that came out. There were 150 pardons, right? The 143 pardons that came. That was really weird that it about Mr. B's emotions, oh boy, already creeps me out. If you're just, when you know how true of the fact that he's a satanic child sacrificing pedo, there's things you can't unsee when you have evidence of things he's done. You've seen evidence of things he's done. It really, it does, it messes with you. I don't know about y'all, but it is part of why I won't shut up about what's been going on. And I know that's really hard. Like, if you don't know what's going on, again, in my treasure trove link, I have phenomenal information about everything regarding the color revolution. I hope I can get censored for that, but what that is, because that's what we are experiencing. We have been experiencing. You know what? Screw this. I'm going to show you. Let's share. And this is the link. Oops. Okay, so obviously you guys can't edit this, only I can. But so these two links right here, these are phenomenal with amount of declass, y'all. Like, so much has already been declassified, and if you don't know about it, that's super important that you guys access these documents. There's so much of conspiracy theories that literally, here's the government document. I was laughing because I'm like, literally, conspiracy theories is just the government's way of saying, oh, don't look over there, they're just crazy. None of that's actually true. Well, here's the actual validated proof that it's true. Here you go. Here's the links. Please access them. Please do your research. Please look into this. Let's have constructive conversations. I love constructive conversations. Y'all, if you guys don't know who Project Veritas is, they're absolute beasts. If you're looking for information about the Jasara Nasara, this is the financial thing, the savings bonds that the president signed an executive order back in December 18th, I think it was. He signed an executive order that if you have a savings bond, please sell them, or please go to receive your money and cash them in. If you haven't done that, go do it now, please, because this executive order was talking about there was like, I can't remember, I think it was like 1 trillion, I don't remember, don't quote me, but it was a massive amount of money still outdated because of this. She does a phenomenal job. Follow her. She's a great anon, if some of them calls them, where she just has a lot of really good information. That's what that talks about. And so these are all really important things. More in executive orders, like, y'all, this is out right in the front of what's going on. So keep going down. So this particular, I try to be very careful of what specifically I say, because the AI is out super heavy, censoring everybody. They're kicking people off, terminating them left and right, just all of their content gone. Which, if you're a person who actively makes content online, that's a really big blow to your work, right? All of your stuff, especially if you don't have it backed up. So this information, his work is all free. He is the person who's behind this is an ex-spy. His name is Robert David Steele. This is his free. There's 5 books are coming out. The 5th one's coming out soon, but it's all free material that tells people exactly what's been going on. Here's the the audio of the whole deal with Italy and stuff. Ooh, this is what I was talking about. Here's some great information about the color revolution, what it is, because I had found out about that beforehand. And so when everything was going down, they were hitting every single marker. She has this phenomenal ministry that this person, Jessie, she was actually groomed to be one of the Mothers of Darkness, which is like the top position a female can have in the Cabal. And so her interviews, they're very intense. Like, a lot of this part of it, y'all, is intense. So be careful, like, be mindful. Go back into all these mindful things we should be doing right now for ourselves. The mask on us first, taking care of ourselves first. Make sure we're taking care of ourselves daily, meditating daily. If you haven't started, it's never too late to try every single day, right? I do it before bed and as soon as I wake up, because at least I know for a fact I have 2 times dedicated that are brief, 20 minutes each, or a little bit longer if I'm recording, dedicated to really grounding myself. And it's super important, especially with what's going on today, just all over the world, what's been going on this last calendar year alone, like, just, you know what I mean? This is a fantastic website too. You want to know who's behind a lot of the money. And so, y'all, there's tons of evidence in here. These are all links everyone has access to. Please utilize them. We have a Telegram. We have a Telegram group, because I'm being censored like crazy too on all the social media platforms. So just loading in all like the different information I'm coming across, people are able to post in there and stuff. And so it's fantastic content, y'all. So how are you guys doing? Did any of you in the chat, did you guys do our binaural beats 30-day challenge by chance? Did you guys tap into any of that? Oh, while I wait for them to reply, I was laughing. One of my friends, she hit me up and she was like, man, I'm nervous. Or she was nauseous. She was saying, man, I'm nauseous. And she's like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm honestly at peace. Like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. Like, you feel emotions. It's okay to feel things when, even though it's like with the optics. I mean, y'all, the incorporation of the United States of America, did you know that's what those gold flags, did you look at Trump's flags behind him last night, Mr. T? Get censored, whatever. Mr. T's flags, they had the gold fringe, right? Frill. And they were really wrinkly. That was an interesting thing. So that is literally back in, was it 1871, where they, over Christmas holiday, they basically enacted this whole thing that made the United States a corporation, like a business. That's where you actually used to be able to, before, if the businesses would allow, like the online businesses to, or transaction payment systems, if they would allow you to change the expiration date and year, I can't go back into years anymore. You used to be able to go back and forth. Well, they stopped that, but what you actually used to be able to do was you could go to your birth year, your birth month and year, and then put in your social security number, and you would actually be able to make purchases. I've seen videos of people doing it. And I've tried to do it, but they literally won't go past the current year you're in. So that's interesting, because literally we're talking about being business assets, right? Where we actually are part of that. That's where the, when you're talking about interference, and there's the evidence that the lawyers were submitting for the big event on November 3rd, the fraud, the F word, there's the filings that shows the evidence of that was presented to the judges. There's like a few different things, and this is from the lawyers themselves, is their Dropboxes that they, I was able to get the links. I looked through the documents and I was like, holy, that's really it. Cool. Here's the evidence. And so, yes, the corrupt system, like, is what it is. But at the same time, Mr. T gave people opportunities. Like, he gave them opportunities to come clean. And if they didn't take the deal, that's on them. But understand that you can't, like this, there's so many people that are involved. I heard a percentage, what was it, like 83% of the government has to be cleaned out. That's a really big percentage. And there's information. People are like, oh, clones aren't real. Well, if you were here for when I showed the links, if not, go back if you have questions about what's in there. But in those D-class links, there's also information about clones and video evidence of their technologies. Kid you not. There's interviews of UFOs and all the information's like their videos with it. And they're like, if y'all haven't met it or seen a UFO recently, it's very likely that you're going to see them soon, within the next calendar year, is my honest to God expectation, because they're now becoming deliberate. In one of my journeys, I have channeled my guides, and we have them, all of us, unless you are a empty vessel, like, which those do exist, where it's a meat suit, right? It's our flesh and blood, and it's a soul of one of basically people from the underground, I guess you could say, would be like the most layman's terms. And people are probably like, wow, she's just off her rocker. Please look into those files, those first two links of the treasure trove, the Black Vault, and then the first one, which is the full disclosure. I haven't even gone through all of it, honestly. Like, I have not had the time, and I want to. I'm chipping away at it, right? Little bits, day by day, kind of a thing, trying to figure out just all what's in there. But chemtrails, JFK's assassination, like the real proof of it, not just the like, oh, well, we conspiracy theoried about his assassination being the CIA and blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the evidence. There's the videos. Please go watch them, because it's, for people who are watching this who are feeling alone because people are like, oh, you're crazy, oh, you're this, you're that, here is your validation. that you're not crazy, that this is really what's going on. Your gut instinct has been right. Your intuition has been right. And it's the people who don't want to be seen for doing the things they're doing that has put you in this position where people don't understand what's really going on. And so they do the work for them because they want to shun them. They don't want that, foreign things that they don't understand presented to society. So they're going to shun you. And here's your validation that you're not crazy. And if you have, shunned someone, here's the validation that they're not crazy. Oh, I love you guys. We got all of our family up in here. If you are feeling alone, y'all hop in the chat. We have such a beautiful digital warrior patriotic family who is just such a collaboration of these beautiful souls. Like, they are so loving, so uplifting. If you're feeling, hop in there because they are some beautiful souls. And I love having this. Like, this is the power that is like, if anything positive like came from COVID and all of this stuff, it's we have learned to overcome and adapt and reach each other in such a, I almost think more emotionally intense way, right? Where it's just like that ability to love and not be solo or isolated is so much more tangible, right? We are actually able to like pray for each other, love on each other, be with each other, support each other. And it's so amazing. I love the, Yes. And you guys, every one of us has this connection. Every one of us has that Christ consciousness, that ability to connect. Guides, angels, like, I'm not going to lie. I honestly thought archangels was just the Catholic Church of deception, right? Another way to deceive you and all of that stuff, because I didn't really understand. Well, then I had an encounter, and that was some wild, because I couldn't even look. I was just like, and I was freaking out. I was just like, what is going on? I was like, don't be scared. Like, we're here. Like, but you need to realize, like, you need to start calling on us to like use us. And I was like, okay. What do you say to that? What do you say to that? Okay. And it's just, it's so amazing what's actually coming out. And I've seen the angel realm. The thing is super cool. It's very real. And it's just, y'all, like, and I'm not saying this, like, I promise I'm sober. Like, I got my coffee, like, yeah, I feel good, I know there's our CBD coffee if you guys are interested. Just tell how like beat up my mug is. It's amazing. And if you're interested in it, that's, that stuff is in the description too. But it really, that was the other thing when my friend was like, oh, I feel nauseous, and I'm just chilling over here in like my little peace bubble. It is a lot of this. When we have our bodies aligned with the CBD and everything else, she laughed. She's like, man, I need to get some of that. I give it to my kids. I give it to my dog. Like, there's a lot of information in the description if you're interested in like the science behind it. I'm very much a science nerd. I love my facts. I love my figures. So like when I really first had a true encounter with God at 17, like really coming to him, or it threw me into a whole new realm that I really struggled with because I didn't have solid facts and figures, and I delayed my process significantly by, I'd probably say, about 5 to 6 years, honestly, in a lot of things, because I was so stuck on, well, where's my proof? Well, where is this? I mean, which is stupid because I basically challenged that when I was first coming to God, like right before I got baptized. I talk about this. My first encounter with a demonic attack was I was sitting there and I got I got it handed to me basically by that Christ consciousness, that creator, where it was like, be careful what you wish for, because I was challenging. I was like, well, where's the proof? How do I know you're real? And I definitely had my first encounter of a demonic attack, and I was losing my shit. I was absolutely losing it, because I didn't know what was going on. And that was my first cue that whatever is this God, church, whatever all this stuff is, this is very real. Spiritual warfare is very real, and it's intense, right? Oh man. So if you guys are interested, so yeah, I was, just like, yeah, I mean, I take CBD. I use it with my family. There's so much that it does. It's been shunned for so long. And that's one of the key things that I always remember when I hear the Mockingbird media. And I highly suggest everyone to, like, anything out there that people are making a big fuss over in a negative way. Right? Hello, Mr. T, for the last 4 years. Look at all the things you did. Like, he really did amazing things. And if you go to the whitehouse.gov, like, it shows his accomplishments. Like, I was trying to go through it, and I was like, I don't even know why I started, because I was like, oh, it'll be quick. And then, like, I was like 15 minutes in, and I was like, man, we're going to be here for like another few hours if I keep going through this. And I was like, y'all can just read this. Just go through it, because it was ridiculously long. And I know I have to, like, be in code, I feel, because the algorithms, the AI and everything else, it's scanning video and audio. And I had a link tree up there about the C19 evidence, about all of the different things regarding it. And Linktree demolished it and said basically it didn't abide by their user standards. So I don't know exactly. I didn't look too deep in it, not gonna lie, but that was interesting. I was like, of course you're gonna nuke something like that. That is one thing, y'all, if you've been paying attention. That was, if you guys are paying attention, all of the different things that are going on in the background, it's a lot. It's intense. Yeah, I honestly didn't catch all of it. I kind of like checked into it for like a couple minutes, and I was like, yeah, I'm not even, why? Like, I mean, unless they like busted in, which I'm sure everyone would be like losing their minds, something crazy like that happening. Remember that there's a lot more going on. There's reports that the CIA was raided this last weekend. What is it that, if you guys, there's evidence in the disclosures links that I talked about at the beginning, there are things that actually do change our weather. Like, there's a lot of phenomenon that is going on that isn't a phenomenon. It's actually being created, and it's based out of Alaska. And again, there's these things that the evidence is in there. There was reports of it from before, like different things, but in Texas, where I'm at, they had a massive blizzard, so everybody had to stay home for basically 2 days. And one part of the area to include Austin, where Solar Winds was, and if you don't know who Solar Winds is, they were a key person in the hosting service for Dominion and all of the different major government system, 3-letter alphabets agencies, those guys, right? And so that is an interesting thing, that everybody was mandated to stay home. Even the public schools were forced to stay home because it had to do with abiding by I have to look back at the text, it basically like abiding by the protocol set by the law enforcement. And private school, you can normally do pretty much whatever you want. And so that was a key thing for me when someone I know who their child goes to public school said that, no, they're close to, they're forcing it. It's an interesting thing. And blackouts, there was massive statewide blackout. The whole state was shut down at the same time. So there are no coincidences, y'all. If you think there's such a thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this right now. There's no such thing as coincidences. There is simply a missing piece that you don't have to the situation that tells you these two things are connected somehow. Pay attention and you'll figure it out, right? You'll get that missing piece. Even just meditate on it, right? Put that into the universe if you're trying to figure it out, because that's something I've been trying to figure out. And and everything that's going on, keep going within, because when you are looking for the truth, you will find it. It will find it yourself. It will find its way to you, excuse me. And it's just, it's inevitable. It's the law of attraction. The only way that it wouldn't find you is when it presents itself, you refuse, right? You're telling it, no, I don't want you. So do be aware to be also in a position of open and reception, right? You're in a receiving mode. You're able to download what's coming when it comes, because otherwise you actually might reject it. So I put this comment up there about this. So, okay. One thing that I love about this product is, and you have to be very particular when you're looking for CBD products. One of the things, so when you have your CBD, like your molecules, right, there is an extra acid attached to it, and it's called a raw CBD or CBDA. Okay, when it goes through the process that you find in the drops, for instance, or even the gummies, right, what goes into the gummy to basically infuse the CBD into it, right? Your CBD has to be cooked. Now, it does get cooked with the THC, and this is key. This is very vital, because this is what actually activates the CBD. It's a very slow process. It cooks, it activates, and then at the end, right, where you get your CBD versus your THC CBD, so it's the two combined, or just the one by itself, is it's then the THC is extracted out of the remaining liquid on a molecular level. It's removed, and then you're left with this very dense, pure version of the drops. And this is what I was talking about that I use with my family. My dog even gets sick because she was having some mobility issues, and there's a lot of different variations. I know people who've been having fantastic results with the shampoo and conditioner. I have not personally used it, but go on there and start looking. It'll be good, right? It's the science is there. Please read up. If you have questions, in the description, there is other ways to find us, because I'm definitely being shadow banned on my personal channel. I don't know about the Collective Super channel, if that's where you're watching this. There is also other links for like the OogTube and stuff. I have a lot of my stuff migrating over there and uploading it. And so there's a lot of these things that are going there because we're being censored. So definitely like and share so we can keep in touch with each other, or sign up also too in the newsletter, or email me too. Those are all the different ways to contact. The newsletter definitely has to, this was funny. I had to read this. It gives that ability too, because we have classes and stuff coming up that we're getting ready to launch and everything. And so this at least gets you the information, right? But if you have questions, email me. My contact information is in there. I would love to connect with people, because there's so much sound science to this, right? And one of the things that I love too is when the final product of the CBD is left, there is a hemp seed oil that is just naturally, it creates in this, right? It's this hemp seed oil. That's what is amazing about that's the drops basically, and then the flavored some of them are. And our family has the strawberry guava. It's really good. But the hemp seed oil, a lot of companies that are taking basically the cheap way out, they will actually extract the hemp seed oil because it's very valuable, and they'll insert a different kind of carrier oil like canola oil or olive oil, something like that. And so then it also diminishes the potency of it as well. So if you've tried CBD in the past and you had you didn't have any results basically from it, I would encourage you, if you remember the company, to go back on and look for these things: activated CBD, and if they leave the hemp seed oil. So those are some key things to look for. They do in this product. I use it myself. I've done the research on this company. I really, really love it. So I'd love to answer any questions. And I had to laugh. I was laughing when I was reading this on the side, where it was right now, Patriots, us watching the inauguration is like Christ being sacrificed. Remember, in 3 days, he rose to ascension, right? I think Karen just hit this nail on the head, right? And this is where it also goes back into, if you haven't started a self-care practice, now is a fantastic time. Now is absolutely a fantastic time. And you also have to take into consideration, today is Wednesday. We are in the middle of the work week. And so for most people who are able to go back to work, like if anything's to go on, I was like, it would really cause havoc that, in the massive work week, right, with like martial law. But did you know that there is, in fact, the Insurrection Act that has been signed? And so I say that because, yes, I've seen bits and pieces of it here and there, But why on earth? I know people personally who work in Sacramento. They do not live in Sacramento, but they are non-essential personnel, so not your nurses or your critical teams or anything. This individual works in Sacramento and literally was told, you are not allowed to come to work for, I think they said like a week. I can't remember. I'll have to check in with them. But and the military is occupying the downtown Sacramento. Like, why? Have you guys paid attention? Did you pay attention to the fence that is around the Capitol? Yeah, that was a pretty reinforced fence. And then you threw razor wire. It wasn't barbed wire. It's razor wire. I don't know. It might be more than a week. I'd have to check in with that person again. I can ask them and like post it on here or something. But it's when they put up the razor wire, y'all, they're not keeping people from the outside getting in. They're keeping people from the inside getting out. I mean, it was literally a pop-up prison. Yeah. And that's another, you know what? That's a perfect segue of something I was actually meditating on before. Okay, say Mr. T just was like, no, I'm done. Okay, walked away, whatever, right? His whole family, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, his whole family is going to be hunted for their entire lifetimes as private citizens, where because the mainstream media is not going to report on it, it's as if they never existed, right? Because they're not the POTUS of, so why would anyone care, right? Do y'all realize this is everything he put on the line? He put his money. He didn't have to do the tax return for the income in the United States, like from the presidency. He donated everything. He literally donated his paycheck. Did you guys know that? His whole time. Why would he do that? Why would he do this? He had everything. He had money and successful businesses and was doing all these things. Why? Why would he do that and subject the safety and well-being of all of his children and grandchildren and then great-grandchildren, because they're not going to stop these people who are on the other side that we've been dealing with before any of us watching this broadcast was ever even born? Because remember, this is back in the 1800s. So you really think he's just going to do all of this? Piss all of these people off to the extreme that there's indictments coming out? People are being arrested? Did you guys watch the entire last summer of how all these people were testifying into these, how they even got the FISA warrants to begin with on Mr. T? If you watch some of the key people, they're like, oh, well, if I knew this was untrue, then I would have never signed it. You could see where the people were taking their deals. But they straight up admitted it in front of anyone who was watching before, doing their, and under oath for all their testimony. And of course, then you had like Comey, who was just like, apparently has this fantastic memory and recall, but all of a sudden had this massive wave of amnesia. Couldn't remember his own name even. I mean, I'm being facetious about that part, but you get my point. Like, that's how ridiculous it was. It was as if he didn't. And so you're telling me we publicly watched these hearings, and they have no evidence of wrongdoing, of federal crimes being committed? Seriously? It's just, yes, we are. We absolutely are. And it is. And oh, absolutely. Oh, thank you, Sean. This is exactly what I've been preaching. This isn't even just about America too. Like, because that's the other thing. That's where I was also going with this, because not only if Mr. T just like straight up walked away, there is literally no place on earth. And yes, there is spaceships. Oh, I need to pull up the patent. Where's that patent? I'll have to post it. There is a patent for the United States Navy, their spaceship, their inertial crap, what is it called? Can't remember, but it's basically it's not jet propulsion, it's not anything like that. That puts all of that stuff in like the dinosaur realm, the type of, it made my brain hurt, and I've had to like read it through like twice, and I was just like, it's insane. Yeah, so this, if you guys didn't know, the declaration, there was one that was enacting it, I believe it was on November 2nd, and so it is 120 days. So the stuff was talking about with like the Jasara and Nasara. If you go into those links, then there's a lot of that information. There's Santa Surfing. She does a fantastic broadcast where it really breaks it down. She's always got some fantastic information. I highly recommend you guys follow it. And yeah, that's one of the big things that exactly there was so many judges, but see here again, right? It showed who the bad actors were. It showed everybody for, without a shadow of a doubt, there was judges. You're right. You mean like to not allow evidence that was fact-based, like evidence being presented to be admitted into court? Like, are you serious? Federal crime right there. You're not, you're a political judge. You're not a one based off, how the law actually reads, right? I'm totally blanking. My brain has like been mush. It's been so just, but yeah, you guys, oh yeah, Kim Clement. If you guys have followed, so I actually only came across Kim Clement after the November 3rd, November 3rd event. And it was interesting because I did in fact have a vision, like back in September is when it happened. And I kept very quiet about it, but it was interesting when I found him. I was like, what he's talking about, just every bit of it resonated. It was kind of broken up. And there was this guy, Trey, he does great work too, was really breaking it down. And it just like everything he was talking about, it's, if you're an empath and you're tapping into like these energies, like guys, if one of the ways you'll know it is you just, the feelings that you get from hearing the way people talk, their mannerisms, their tone deflections, all of it, like you feel that energetic shift, and there is like, it'll resonate with you. It'll feel peaceful. It'll feel just like, you're almost like you're connected in a way where you're just, it's resonating with you. When I say resonating, it's, it sits well, it feels positive, it feels pure, it feels high quality. It feels like it has a divine meaning or basis to it, so that it can be to go with it, right? So that you're true, right? Oh, I love it. And it's just being able to tap in with that, and which every one of us can do, y'all. This isn't anything that like, I'm not special, I promise. Every one of us can do this. My church actually taught me how to do this, which was the weirdest thing. That was like well over a decade ago, but that's another day. To being able to tap into that and sit with it. And that's what I'm talking about when I say the truth will find you. It'll find you if we're in that open, receptive mindset, resonating with you, tapping in with you, feeling with you, these types of things, right? That is how I highly encourage everyone to take all of the information you're given and really tap into that. Like if you don't have a meditation practice, please start. Go before bed tonight, set an alarm, right? To remind yourself. It's just so vital. If you haven't started yet, now's the perfect day. Please start, because it's so vital that we start learning to trust ourselves, right? And it may take some very deep work, right? It may take some, shadow work is what a lot of people call it, because maybe you have kind of like a really traumatic history, or maybe you just, every one of us has had something that has had some sort of negative impact. I don't care who you are, if you're not Jesus. Well, even Jesus had negative things happen to him, but it was how he responded, right? For anyone who follows Christ. But negative things are not going to stop. How do we deal with it so that we can be more like that divine spirit, where we don't react in that moment? We're able to truly like deal with it with grace and with integrity and with purity, right? And a more balanced state of being. And this is where a lot of our classes, I'm going to get more into that, but it really breaks it down, because like we can in fact do this. This is very real. And so trust that intuition, trust that, calmness and everything else. And y'all, it's not a legitimate inauguration. The incorporation of the United States of America, I'm trying to remember when it was fully cut off. Was it trying to think. I have so many numbers. Maybe you guys can help me out in the chat. Oh man. Sorry, I get squirrel brain because I see people in chat and I'm just like, oh, that's heavy, that's important. And it tells you what kind of brainwashing. I watched them debunk the 6-foot deal last year. And because it was something, I dealt with PPE in the military. I dealt with very toxic things, potential scenarios, and the training and stuff we received. You can't breathe in that stuff. You will die. Like, it's not me being hyperbolic, like you'll die. And with some of the potential hazards. So like, I know about PPE and checking your equipment and making sure this stuff. One of the first things I remember when I was trying to like buy, because like in order for my kids to go back to school, they had to have like masks. And I'm like, where is the quality assurance? Like, where's the ratings? What are the ratings? Where, and I'm like asking all these questions, and I'm like, and when I was doing my research, it was like, oh, well, nothing's actually rated. And so I laughed because like my daughter, she can definitely have some super rank farts. And I remember she farted in the store and I was, wearing my mask like a good little sheeple because I needed to go into the store. And I was like, what the? And I was just like, that was awful. And so like, I'm sorry, but like, and that's why I was joking. I'm like, if I can smell your fart, your mask isn't, like, sorry. It's not, like now if you're talking about like the high grade, like the actual PPE of like the hospital grade stuff, that stuff, it does in fact work. Like that is exactly like our PPE in the military. Like it's meant to work. It's meant for a purpose, right? Which is why they were freaking out in the beginning. Don't get those types of masks. Like they did need them for the hospital. They couldn't, that was a big issue with it. So like then everyone improvises with these. Well, basically the long story short, they broke it down in molecules and stuff and like the molecular weight and everything else and like what was being passed through. Like it was a very thorough and dense basically study, if you will, that debunking essentially, because they said, look, if you want everything to work, we actually need to be 13 to 16 feet away from each other and no area that has like recycled air without a proper filtration system. And they were talking about like using the light, the infrared, it's like a certain type of light therapy that actually kills germs and everything. So like if there's any filtration systems, it needs to have this with, and there was, I forget all the numbers, but there was like all the data relating to like what it needed and stuff. And then they were doing the weight and like, so it was a very thorough one. And I was just like, what the fuck? And it just, when you start seeing like evidence being broken down in front of you, it's like one more little breadcrumb dropped into your trail of like your awakening to like the psychological warfare, things that are going on. And this literally, if you are unfamiliar with like the Great Reset, it's, this is part of it. If you guys, I encourage you, it's called Lockstep, LOCK, STEP. Let me put it in here. By the Rockefeller family. Operation Lockstep. Post it on here. Please look it up. There is, look this up. I can post to the link in it because I actually saved it to my Google Drive because it's a PDF. And so if there is a index and you can go straight to, because it's like 54 pages in, I forget how far in, but it's in the document quite a bit. And they're talking about literally how to step into this Great Reset. Y'all, this information is public. This isn't, I didn't have to like go on some crazy deep dives to find this information down some weird rabbit hole. Like type in even your Google search browser. I use DuckDuckGo. I highly encourage to get off Google if you can, Chrome, all of the things. But what do you call it? If you search in Operation Lockstep, and you'll find the PDF or all added into the treasure trove link. And literally look it up. Please read and educate, because that's what's so vital, is that we educate ourselves about what's really going on. That's literally how these people work. These people who are like, Mr. B is part of their crowd. I mean, literally, he sacrificed his family, y'all. Like, he sacrificed his family to like accelerate in the levels. Those are interesting car accidents that your family keeps dying in, if you don't know anything about that, I highly encourage you to research it, because if you understand his past and understand exactly how he is, like, y'all, if you've seen the pictures of him, the way he engages stranger children, like, it's disgusting. If you haven't watched it or like seen it, like, just like how natural he is to be like that disgustingly close to, I like, that's why I have a hard time like watching any of them, because it's like, when you know who these people are and what they do, it's like, it definitely takes some getting used to and a tough skin to really be able to start to engage them as far as like watching any content of theirs. And it's just, and if it bothers you, if there's something like that going on, that's where that self-care comes in, right? Mask on us first, right? Oxygen to us first, get us squared away, get us connected, get us in a good state. And it's vital, right? The UK, other countries outside the US has been in some serious stuff. I've watched all the other countries too, Australia, China, as much as you can. Ooh, there's a really great reporter. He's American, but he does some fantastic journalism. Now I'm totally blanking on it. He speaks very fluent English, but what do you call it? It is broken up a little bit. Where is he? He's probably got nuked, but he's got some fantastic. Oh, there it is. Brave Hearts with Sean Lynn. Show you. He's got fantastic interviews. Y'all go like and subscribe him. He's got fantastic interviews. Does a lot of lives and stuff of people who are literally living in the areas that are being impacted by the CCP and what's going on the ground over there. So highly encourage you to do that, because that's one of the things that I've noticed is when anything is like mainstream media is squawking, hey, look over here, or, God, y'all, that broke my heart when NPR put out this post last year about Hunter Biden's laptop, how they're not reporting on it because it's a non-issue and it's a like, there's nothing to see here. Yeah, like, I mean, it's things like that where it's like, we're going to be going through a grief process. That right there told me, I was like, really? You're complicit too? Like, that's heartbreaking. Why do you mean? And then, of course, now they're under federal investigation. Like, yeah, you've had the laptop. Like, I've seen some of the stuff that's on it. It's like, it's awful. And it's just like, it puts some of the things like I've seen that it's like, it puts you on a mama bear mode of just like full blown assassin, where it's like, you just want to like destroy these people in every possible way. And it sucks, because it's like, then you're kind of sitting here and you're like, well, what can I do? I'm not part of the military. I'm not part of the National Guard. I'm not part of any of that. What can I do? Well, you can use your voice, that's for sure. If you have a platform, talk about it, educate people. We have those uncomfortable conversations with people who maybe don't believe in this stuff, or maybe who don't really know what's going on, because you figure since the 1800s, they have been brainwashing us, y'all. Like, there's not a person alive by natural means today that hasn't been part of this incorporation, hasn't been part of it, right? So everything we've been talking about and learned are, for most of us, unless you were part of like an awoke family who raised you up in that, outside of that, for I would say vast majority of humanity, what did we know? I watched a clip of a sitcom. It was from 1981. I don't even know the sitcom. And it was like these adult men. And there was this one guy. It was kind of like, it reminded me kind of like Seinfeld. Actually, might have been Seinfeld. I've never really watched it, but my dad did. And it had that kind of vibe to it, right? And like this guy like stormed into the apartment and was like talking about everything that Henry Kissinger, who was just fired, was doing, and that has come out since he's been fired, the things he was part of. Like, he like told him everything, to include the Henry Kissinger name was added in there. And it's just, they laughed it off and was like, oh, you're just crazy. And I'm like, wow. everything like you had seen where they make a mockery of it, or like, oh, you know, like the movies, like there's so many movies. I was told, I've never watched Star Trek, but I've really wanted to like actually go back and watch it because it always resonated with me. Same thing with the Stargate series, always resonated with me, but I've never watched them. And I was told to go back and watch Star Trek because supposedly, I don't know how true this is, so like do take this with a grain of salt, but supposedly the writer was approached by ETs, right? Which we all know are very real. And if you don't believe me, please go into my treasure trove link. Please look at those first 2 links, right? There's massive amounts of evidence because there's so much that people have been lying about, i.e. our government and the conspiracy theories. Don't believe them. Yeah, well, here's their evidence that the conspiracy theories are real. Go to them, please, please. It is vital we all wake up to this information. It's vital we all learn it. It's vital that we understand what's going on. Yeah, you know, we were hypnotized. It's just, it's insane. And so now that we're understanding it, I've still never watched the Matrix movies, which I still feel like I probably should. But as they would say, people are being red pilled into what's really going on. But even that, all I know is like the red pill like woke you up, or he like could take the blue pill and stay in his sleeping world, right? That's the only thing I really know the basis of it. And that the light wins, pretty sure. At least it seems like it. I don't know. I haven't watched him. But it's, again, that's the consent. That's the consent that they have given us. And it's just, it's insane. And yeah, if you have a birth certificate and a social security number here in at least the United States of America, right? Look at the flags, the gold frill, right? The gold fringe. Ooh, I haven't seen it. I like never watch TV or like anything, y'all. I've always been this way too. Like I'm always doing something, engaged in something. Maybe we should have like a watch party. That sounds amazing, to do the conspiracy theory. I'm interested. Let's do it, right? We'll do all like our check-ins and stuff and watch it together and see what we think about it, because it's just interesting, right? Sorry, I'm just looking back at some of the chats because, like, yeah, it's so true that, I mean, that's how they want us to be, right? They want us to be hypnotized. Because when you feel humiliated, right? Go back to vibrational frequencies. When you're feeling humiliated, when you're feeling down and despaired, like, and people laughing at you, like, look at the CCP. They literally have neighbors spying on each other, and they're rewarded with payment if they give them anything of value. Like, are you serious? No wonder people are terrified, because then you get huffed off and you're likely executed and just harvested for your organs. Like, that's really a thing. That's really what's going on. And that's really where we're at in our entire world, is that if America fell, if we fall, this earth falls. And we have yet to even just tap into the blessings. And so for anyone who may be feeling down in despair that about this whole thing, please just keep tapping in. Please going on. Maybe we should do the Matrix watch party first. Oh man, I'm down. I'm excited, because it's like there's things that have been going on. But I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie. You know, we were just talking about the other day, where were you 10 years ago? Even a year ago, I knew things that were going on. Right? I wasn't totally out of the loop, because like when Weinstein was arrested, that's when I had my awakening. So that was a couple years ago. But even then, like, I did not know we would be here now. I thought like they could pull it off and like keep things going or something. I don't know. But I was in my own little like kind of like bubble of like growing and healing. And if we need to step into those bubbles to like really regroup and recenter, one of my friends has a complete day of technology disconnect. She doesn't have her phone on for anything. Neither of them do. Every electronic device is disconnected for the entire 24 hours, and it's a Saturday. So, but it's just like, I was like, man, that's amazing. Like, that's actually a really good idea, because there is so much information, and, you know, that's definitely a variation of going into your bubble. Go into your bubble, go into this time to really reground and regroup, because everything is going to be there when we're done, right? When we come out of this, like, things that's happened are still happening, unless like you're literally having a crisis, like, you know, your house is about to burn down or something, you know, obviously. But anything else, it's just kind of like, it's not important. And I mean, you tell your friends and family and stuff that like, hey, you know, I'm going to be doing this, and they're not like trying to blow you up and freaking out what's going on. So that was something I came across that was, I thought, really helpful and insightful. Yeah, it's when you start waking up to it, it's just, yeah, it's okay. I am the same way. I have not watched them. Apparently, is there a fourth one? I think there's a fourth one coming out, because I was listening to actually a interview with the writer, the original writer. So I actually found out a lot of information about that, because he was talking about his lawsuit from the people who actually produced it and stuff. And there was a lot of things going on, how they stole his story, and a lot of things. And so apparently there's a fourth one. I don't know if he's writing it or someone's creating it. I don't know. Yeah, you know, I really do believe that they are. There's so much to it now where it's like, and I don't know about y'all, but I always kind of felt like there was just no logical reason, because I was always mystified by how Hitler rose to power so we could stop that from ever happening again, which is so funny, because like, why would a kid be interested in that? I've always been interested in that. There's more to it, but I recently, actually very recently, found out I have in fact a past life connected to that, and a lot of it made sense. And so those are real too, having our soul connections, going from meat suit to meat suit in lifetimes, but it's our soul that actually makes the jumps. There's people who have their souls came from other planets and incarnated here to help this time where they arise, you know, and people are waking up, and it's insane. I would not be surprised. That was what boggled my mind too. I was going with it, is like, Egypt also always perplexed me, because I like I was always really interested in like the inventions of history, and it always perplexed me, because how did there be some seemingly, like, how did a human create the pyramids? Like, have y'all ever actually like looked at the pyramids, how they're designed, the detail and the precision, minus the eroding, you know? But have you guys ever thought about that, right? That always perplexed me, and I never understood. And so, yes, there's so much of this, and there's so much of that information in that treasure trove link. It's the very top two links. Full disclosure, and the Black Vault has a lot of information about the technology. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of people out here who are really feeling this. And I do want to pray with you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it short. I do want to pray with you guys. If you have any prayer requests that you feel open to put in the public, please post them, you know, real quick, and we will pray together. If you have prayer requests, or we were talking about it the other day, The Power of the Psalms. That is a fantastic book if you're experiencing spiritual warfare, to really utilize the Psalms, the book of Psalms, in a very intentional way to deal with that, because that is another thing that has been super heavily pressed on my heart, is that people, as we wake up, right now, we're becoming more threats to that negative spiritual side, the demonic side, where now we're no longer sleeping. So we're no longer contained, if you will, and just kind of like keeping with the path that they want us on. You are quite possibly going to start experiencing demonic warfare. That is a very real thing. So if you do experience it, if you are attacked, if you see things, I always see them attached to the back of people's heads. Like, it's always like this. It's like a thought bubble that's attached to you from the back, and kind of just like, I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes they have faces. Sometimes it's just this energy. But if you know how to read energies, or you see stuff like that, as we ascend higher, these veils are also going to be lifted. So we actually might be seeing stuff. If you're seeing things in your peripheral, or if you are looking at something and you rest your gaze to where your peripheral type vision is able to take in, that's how you start reading people's auras. Like, this is a very real thing. It's how I started reading people. It's how I really started tapping into those energies. Like, I'm not special, I promise. This is very real. And so these are all things that, you know, some of the stuff tapping into that is what talks about in those declassifieds. But if you're starting to see these things, right, these dark entities, as you're ascending higher, especially if you're in big crowds or, you know, a public place, don't freak out. Please don't freak out. Like, it's a very real thing, and there are ways to do it. But if you are struggling financially, email me with your mailing address and stuff, and I'll send you a copy. It's like $10. I think I hate to say Amazon. I hate Amazon. I usually use it to like go on, but in this particular situation, it's like a pretty consistent price. But I will send you the book. I will mail it to you, no questions asked. So if you do have spiritual warfare and you want a copy of that book but can't afford it, please email me. I will send you one, no questions asked. So it is a major book of wisdom. They make my skin crawl too. Amen, God. And it's, it goes into that law of attraction, law of manifesting, all of these things. Like, these are very real, and it all goes back to the energy, right? It's the energy shifts, energy projections we put in. And what do you call it? Sorry, I was reading some of this. Amen. And you know what? Like, there is literally nothing that God can't do. It's that creator, it's that source, and it's that, it's that being that created everything. And if you look at, I have to catch myself. I started changing my language because I used to say world, and that just was the earth, and like, the sun and the planets, that were nearby in our galaxy and our, little area of the universe area, I guess. I don't know. And I started having to change the way I structured my sentences because it really isn't just about earth. It is, the universe is infinite. It truly is. Like, there's so much to it. And if the creator can create something like us with our, like rank eating technology compared to what was brought back then, back in the Egyptian times, and the different technologies that were even used during the Nazi time, there's a lot of information about like this space program that's been created and using the Nazi technology. If you hear that term, that's where it's derived from. And so it's just, if you guys are feeling down, it's just, have faith, right? Have faith and realize that, better days, brighter days are in fact coming. And we don't know. I have no idea how this looks. I have no idea how we get there, but there's a significant amount of patents and everything that are been kept from us. And it's just, this, I saw there is a thing floating around for UK residents and Australian residents. If you're being forced to get vaccinated, it was I should have saved it. Now I'm kicking myself for not saving it. There was something going around where it was like, it was against like your human rights or something, where it was a waiver that you were able to be used. Same thing in Australia too. There was these waivers that, I can't remember exactly the right wording of it, but that is a thing. So please, if you are being forced and you feel that you're being forced for however that looks in your government system or whatever you're experiencing, please look into that. I do know that was a thing. I looked into it, because I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, they're able to arm themselves against this. So don't give up, right? Don't give up, you guys. We are definitely, amen. See, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Like, we have this beautiful family. So if you guys are feeling, down or anything else, hop in our chat. Like, there's so much love. There's just such a beautiful souls. Like, we're finding each other. We're collecting, collectively coming together. And this is what's so beautiful about this process, is we have learned to connect with each other like never before, So I am going to pray for everybody, and then we're going to sign out. I remember to hold the line, right? I pray if you're having a hard time, if you're struggling, that you guys, I will pray for everybody, but just that you guys are able to go within, start those meditation practices, go into my personal, the Heroes Ranch content, go into that page. There's tons of stuff that are bite-sized pieces to really start getting you started. It's super important that we start these processes with ourselves, because we are really going to be needing it, especially as things go on that, the mockingbird media is not going to, they're not going to report. They're not going to say about it. And so it's intense. All right, let's pray, y'all. Divinely guided, I thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today, with your healing, with your calming, with your presence, and that you're here with us, and that you're guiding us, and that you're here. People who are feeling alone, or maybe they feel hopeless, that I pray that you rest upon lift them up and let them carry them into their times where they are no longer grieving, where they're no longer hurting, that you are able to bless upon them the power of healing that you are having and touching their soul, touching their spirit, that they're able to feel that mercy, that love, that healing energy that divinely rehabilitates their entire being, every bit of their cells down to their cellular level, that they're able to heal and regenerate and come within, and that they are feeling that comfort and that just that blessing and that companionship, that covering, that if they are feeling scared or lost, that you cover them with that divine understanding, that they or give them the divine understanding, that they're able to understand how and where they're at in their journey, so that they can take this information and not sit in sorrow, but rather use it to make themselves go forward, progress themselves forward, to where they are able to tap into their divine calling and use this moment, however it looks for them, wherever they're at right now, however it sits in their immediate surroundings, that they're able to use this moment in time as a piece of a lesson, that they're able to utilize it to advance themselves into their highest soul being and their highest purpose, and taking their children and their families along with them, helping and being that light, being in their family and their friends and their workspace, everywhere that they go, that they're just this beacon of light, that they're living in this Christ consciousness truth that is coming out before them with every bit of their being on the constantly glowing with that Christ divine energy, and that they are able to touch and manifest in everything that they are called to do, that they're able to do that and do the divine creator's work in their homes, in their communities, wherever they go, that they're able to touch in and really get in with their communities and really start this cataclysmic effect where everybody in the world is able to start connecting and touching with each other. I thank you so much for the blessings. I thank you so much for the hurts and the hangups and the things that are coming to light, that people are able to heal from, that they're able to really truly tap into their soul and heal their soul on a level that they've never experienced before as they go into their highest being. And if people who choose not to be here anymore, when that's their contract, then we gracefully allow them to go, and we don't hold those significant hurts or hangups, but we understand and process in a hopeful and positive manner that this was their contract, this is what was going on as we go through this time in this transition. I thank you so much for all that you're doing, for everything that you're being, for the blessings that you bestowed upon us, whether we see them right now or not, and if we're blind to them, that we do see them, that our eyes are open, and any scales that are present, that they fall, that we go before you as that Christ consciousness, and that you lay that divine discernment upon us instead of these lenses, instead of these filters that the world and us has put on us, that we see through things through your lens, through your eyes, and how you want us to see the world with that divine understanding. I thank you so much for all that you are, all that you continue to be, and that you will forever be. In your precious son's name, amen. Y'all, thank you so much for y'all touching in. If you want prayer requests, please email me. I will absolutely add you into my book. Thank you for your time. I'm always so gracious for it, always so gracious for you guys. I hope you all have a blessed day, and until next time, beautiful souls.